What's going on, folks? Welcome back to some more videos, and today we're going to be doing another character guide in my BB Tag tutorial series. We're going to be covering Gordeau today, so I hope you guys are excited to learn the Scythe Grim Reaper man, because he's here, and he's here to Beyblade his way into victory. Anyways, guys, just before I get started, I want to let you guys know thank you so much for all the new people that are coming into the channel and checking out my BB Tag content, and also all the people that are coming over to Twitch and supporting the stream over there. I really just love you guys for that. You guys are seriously too much for me to handle in terms of all the generosity and all the crazy support you guys have been doing. We're almost to 20,000 subscribers in the channel, which seriously, bravo everybody. You guys are ridiculous. So whoever's here that is new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully you guys stick around for long and hopefully continue supporting my channel and everything I do for this game. I'm going to be doing more guides, of course. I don't know who I'm going to be doing after this, but hopefully it'll be very soon. Just wanted to say that before I started the video. Anyways, everybody, I just wanted to say thank you. Enjoy the guide, everybody. Here's Gordeau. Welcome back to the lab, everybody. We're back with Gordeau this time, and just like with everything else, we're going to get started with his assists. His 4P, which is very different from his other 4Ps in the game. 4Ps is usually a universal defensive assist. It's not necessarily the best defensive assist, but it's really good for combo extending. You can use it as a defensive assist to bait bursts or to punish bursts and such, but for the most part, you're going to be using it to combo off of other things because it leaves them in an OTG state, which is an off the ground. It stands for off the ground, and you can kind of combo into whatever you want. So it's similar to that. So that's mostly what you're going to be using it for. 5P is his Grim Reaper assist, which is probably his best assist just because it has a lot of utilization, which you can use it as a kind of a defensive assist if they're getting near you, because it has such a big hitbox, such a wide amount of range. And you can also use it as lockdown. You can keep them blocking while you just keep going, or you can use it as a combo extender. All that, it has so much utilization that it's probably his best assist you're going to be using it for. So there's that, and there's also his 6P, and his 6P is really good too. It's considered his projectile assist. It's his force function in previous game, in his game, and it used to stagger, so it would just leave them in a crumple state. But in this game, it kind of props them up into the air, so you can kind of use it for things like combo extensions. You can even use it for approaching. That's not a bad idea either, because it does go like 3/4 of the screen. It's not necessarily full screen, so it doesn't go all the way full screen, but it does go a pretty good, it has some pretty good range. So don't underestimate it. You definitely can use it for building up your resonance blaze meter, all that good stuff. So those are his assists. Next up, let's go over his normals. So first, we're going to be going over his 2A. His 2A is really good. It has a really good amount of range, and it's really good for just staggering and counter poking, probably baiting out some DPs or some reversals, and just it's really good for counter poking. So it's a very good button, very good range. However, it is not a low, so you can block this standing. So that's one of the downsides of its 2A, but for the most part, it's really good for just poking and such and playing the neutral with it. Next up is his 5A, and his 5A has a little bit more range just because he takes a step forward in the button. So like 2A, there's his 2A right there, and then 5A does a little bit more just because of that step forward. However, these two are still considered kind of stubby compared to his other normals that we're going to be going over. But for the most part, this is probably his fastest button that he has, his 5A. So you're going to be using this for fast combo startups. So if you need to punish something fast, of course his 5A is probably going to be your best bet. Next up, we're going to be going over one of his best buttons, and probably the button that defines him the most, because if you've seen a little bit of Gordeau, you've probably seen this button because it's so good, and that's his 5B. His 5B literally is one of the things that defines him, just because of the range that he has, the damage that he does by starting up a combo with this button, and also the space that he controls just on the ground when he does this button is insane. If he hits you with this button, he does a lot of damage, and if you block it, you can, just because of the Under Night and Birth's reverse beat system, you can just completely just nullify all the recovery that you get from this button if they block it. So just go like, even on hit, you can just do this, and you can just start playing the footsies and neutral just with this button alone. It's super good. All right, so his 5B, very strong. I suggest you use this quite a bit when you space yourself correctly. Up close, maybe it's not as good because it has a very slow startup, So up close, maybe not the best, but from this space onward, it's super good. All right. So that's his 5B. His second, this is probably his best button in my opinion, right here. I think 5B is his second best button. His best button in my opinion is his 2B right here. Let me tell you why. Two things about this button, all right, and why you should be using it way more. Up close, it's really good just because it's a double hitting launcher. Not just that, but the first hit of this button right here is a low, actually. So it goes low mid. So you have to be blocking it. So let me try and there we go. So like if I go like this, you see that yellow exclamation mark? That means it's a low. The first hit of this 2B button is a low, and it launches as well. So you can go for some crazy shenanigans, like just go up close and just go like this. So it's very, very, very good. It's 2B. Not just that, but it has head invincibility, which means that no matter what you do, you're going to get anti-aired. Similar to how high it is, how Oria's is. I think Gordeau's takes the cake just because it has a ton of vertical space, and it has a lot of head invul, and it's just everything in one, man. So, for example, if Yang tries to jump at me like that, if she tries to jump at me, plus it hits behind him too. Did you see that? Just because of that alone, this is probably his best button because it has so much utilization. As for pressure, with anti-airing, everything like that is just an incredibly good button. I think it's his best button overall. Next up, we have his 2C, and his 2C is a very good button as well because it is a low and it's a slide. Now, in the previous game, he did have this button, and you could not reverse beat it, which means that if you did the slide, on hit, you could special cancel it, or you can jump cancel it, whatever the case may be. However, if it was blocked, you could not do anything in the previous game. In this game, it's different. In this game, you can reverse beat it. You can make yourself safe if you want to. So it's basically a free, safe slide low in this game that can be a really good combo starter as well. So if they hit you like with this, you can do pretty much this right here. It's really, really good. His slide, very, very strong. It goes very, very far. However, if you whiff it, you do have a lot of recovery. So be careful. Be very, very careful with this button. All right, let's go over his jumping normals. His jumping normals are very, very good. There's his JA, and his JA is really good for just air-to-airs and for pressure. So if you are neutral jumping or you're jumping in general, and it's a double hitting buttons, which means that they have to block this overhead standing twice. So, and sometimes you can catch them off guard, and you can time your JA jump in for you to hit it once or twice. So that can really catch them off guard if they're just blocking it once, and they can immediately go to crouching, and when that happens, the second hit of the JA will hit them. So it's very good for pressure and such, very good for combos as well. Very, very good. All right, his next up is his JB, and his JB is similar to Oria's JC. So it kind of like has a very good vertical hitbox downward. So it can be really good for cross-ups, only in specific angles, by the way. It's not like Oria's, but it's very good for that purpose. It's just a good jumping button overall. Plus, it's not like Oria's JC, which it props him straight down. His JB is just a regular button, so it doesn't prop them straight down. It just props them up, actually, so you can keep going with combos. You can like that. So that's the only real purpose for it. So it's pretty good. And his JC, which is this button right here, it's not an overhead, by the way. You can block this crouching. However, the only real purpose for this button is probably for just mistiming people's anti-air. So if you jump in and they anti-air you, you can do this because he does float up in the air and he kind of like jumps up. So you can really bait people's anti-air with this. Not just that, but you can also like do some crazy weird like air-to-airs. Also with combos, like you can definitely combo this. Some really cool combo purposes this button has. So like this. Yeah, stuff like that. So you can definitely figure out some cool combos with JC. Next up, let's go over his smart combos. He has a very good set of smart combos, and just like every other unique character, you can reverse beat every hit other than the last hit of each smart combo. So let's go over all of this here. So first of all, we have his 5A auto combo. That's it right there. Pretty okay damage. The hits in between are really good because he takes a step forward with every hit of his 5A auto combo. So every single one, he has this shoulder charge, which actually like launches them. So you can kind of combine this with your 5B, and you have yourself a combo there. So very good for that purpose. It's really good for pressure as well, just because, like I said, he takes a step forward, so you can go with. So whenever they're blocking, you can go with things like this. See, so they have to block low at that point. All that good stuff. Very good block string. Very nice, very nice. Next up, we have his 5B auto combo, and his 5B auto combo is probably where you're going to be using the most, just because he has his Mortal Slide, or Mortal Slut, as a specific person likes to call it. You can definitely get some really good damage off of this 5B auto combo, and it's probably going to be your most optimal combo starter. 5B is probably one of the things that Gordeau players have to learn how to convert off of. So if they're far away, you can do your slide, or if you're very close, you can do like 2B, stuff like that. Very, very important block string, or important string to be able to convert off of, or to be able to do pressure off of, to reverse beats, just like that, and to make yourself safe. So very good auto combos overall. Very, very strong, especially that 5B auto combo. That's probably what you're going to be using the most in Gordeau when you're playing with Gordeau. Next, let's go over his special moves, and let's take a look at the move that made this man a meme. His Beyblade, aka his Grim Reaper. So his quarter circle forward A is the light Grim Reaper. It does 2 hits, it doesn't do too much damage, but it's very fast and it gets the job done in case you need to get a fast conversion. His quarter circle forward B, which is a medium or a heavier version of the Grim Reaper, does more hits and it hits harder, and definitely does quite a bit of knockback and does quite a bit of like mental scarring. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's beside the point. But the one that you should be really worried about is his quarter circle forward C, which is his EX version. It does 6 hits, does a ton of damage, and it pushes you forward a lot, and it's really fast, and it can come at you like a train. You don't want to mess with this button if it comes at you at full speed. All right, plus you can convert off of it with like assists and stuff, you know, stuff like that. And it's probably the most optimal combo starter, or the most optimal, like to get the most damage out of Gordeau, you're probably going to be using EX Grim Reaper a lot, and then using your assist to continue the combo and such. It just does a lot of damage, and it's really fast, and it's really easy to convert off of with your assist, and so on and so forth. Very good buttons overall. It's very good to just throw out sometimes, just to keep them in check if they're moving forward a lot. It covers most of the screen, so if they're trying to jump at you, so like this, you can just like keep them in check and just use your assist to convert. So very strong special move, probably one of the best in the game overall. And of course, you can use this to like keep your, or like get your assist in there and keep going, continue off the combo. And you can even do this on block as well, so you can move around. Very, very good special moves. All right. Next up, let's talk about his command grab, aka his assimilation. Now, it is a command grab, so you cannot block it or tech it. You have to jump over it, or you have to jump in time before he grabs you, essentially. So you have to jump it. And with that being said, this command grab is a meter stealing command grab. So he takes a little bit of your meter and he gives it to himself. As you can see, look at Yang's her meter on the bottom right. She just takes a little bit of that meter and gives it to Gordeau. So like, let me just like that. You see how his fills up and hers kind of goes down a little bit. Then the heavier the command grab is, the more meter he takes. So let's go over his other command grabs. This is his grounded command grab, and his quarter circle back B is an air command grab, which means that they have to be in the air. And it does combo into, it can be comboable, by the way. So if you do like this, you can do that. And look at the meter that I just took, much, much more than normal. Just like that. I took a lot more meter there. And then his EX command grab, which has a lot of range and it's pretty quick as well, takes a lot of meter from them, but it takes a meter from you, but you can still suck some meter. So it's like 70, like 20%, like an 80% like command grab pretty much. So you don't spend all of your meter, you just spend like a little bit of it. You see all that meter that you just gained from that one command grab. So that's what I'm saying. And yeah, it can be very, very good for just if they're blocking too much, you can run up to them and completely just psych them out, being like, hey, I got you. I grabbed you. Stop blocking. Jump around so I can hit you some more, you know? It's very good to get to condition them to jump so you can do some good stuff and you can kind of set up some unblockable situations with your reversal and other good stuff like that. And also you can convert off of your command grabs, but you have to do an assist with them. So like that. Whoops. That was a bad one. Like that. So that's the only way to really convert off of a command grab there. With Narukami, it's especially really good. So that it's especially good with Narukami, but it's very assist dependent. Just experiment with your own tag team partner to be able to try and combo off of your command grab. And same thing with your EX1. Or the EX1 takes a little bit longer, so it can be a little bit tougher to convert off of. But for the most part, the light one is definitely the way to go if you want to convert off of command grabs. So very good. That's his special moves there. Next up, let's go over his distortions, and he has quarter circle back B and C, which is this one right here. It's probably his most damaging super. This is the one you're going to be using in case you want to do the most damage out of your combos. And his quarter circle forward B and C is going to be the one that has the most range. However, this super is a little bit wonky because if you do not hit the opponent with the 2 full hits in the beginning, so like for example this right here, if you don't hit them completely with that animation, it doesn't connect completely. So, but for the most part, this one is very consistent. No matter what, if you hit them, you're gonna get almost the full animation depending on where you hit them during the super. And with this super as well, you can also do something very cheeky by doing this and then DHCing right after, depending on your tag partner, and then move around freely and just go around, start pressuring them with it. So that's only with his quarter circle back distortion, all right? So just keep that in mind. And of course, we have to show off his Astral, of course. His Astral is very cool, especially if you like scythes. This is a big one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how do you take all the information you just got and put it into a game plan? How do you put it? How can you do that in a real match? All right. How do you play with Gordeau and do well with him? What are his pros? What are his cons? Well, let's go over that right now. All right. So definitely one of Gordeau's biggest game plans. It's very straightforward, but it's very, very good because he's very good with it. Is of course trying to control the space, and he's very, very good at that. He's supposed to be played very defensively. He's not necessarily a huge rushdown monster like Orie, for example, because she's got really fast buttons, very versatile and such. Gordeau is very defensive. He has very long buttons. He's mostly meant to be played as kind of like a zoner, if I should say, similar to how Blake is being played. Now, you can play him rushdown, of course. You can play any character rushdown, but his archetype really leans towards the defensive type. So, for example, you have to be very, very good at converting your 5BB string, so in case they block it or in case they get hit by it. So what I like to do with Gordeau is set the opponent to randomly block. So whenever I control the space, this is the ideal space for Gordeau right here. So whenever I go with that, and if they block it like they did right there, I like to cancel out the animation completely and reset the neutral completely. Just reset. All right, they blocked it, reset by reverse beating into 2A, canceling the recovery frames of the 5BB string. Now, if they get hit by it, they haven't got hit yet. There it is. And I like to convert from wherever they are on the screen and convert off of that, of course. And if you want, you can also like try practicing your strings with your assist and such, so you can kind of get in and free roam with your character while the assist does the distraction and keeps them busy by blocking the assist. Stuff like that. Very straightforward, very good game plan with Gordeau. Of course, there's other things as well, such as anti-airing. This character has one of the best anti-airs in the entire game. And not just that, but you can also use it not just as an anti-air, but it has a very good horizontal hitbox as well. So it has some really good range like that, especially the second hit. However, if you're up close doing pressure, it's really good to use this string right here. Just use the 2B, what I mean, because even if when they're jumping at you, you can use it for block strings, by the way, like I just did right there. So they have to block low. They have to. If not, they're going to get hit by the 2B. It's good to just like randomly run up to them, micro dash 2B, because it's a very good like block string starter and also very good just combo starter in general in case you do hit them. Plus, it's very universal as to you can do your 2B and into your 5B, and depending on what happens, if you hit them or if they block it, you can still like have the advantage, either or. So if you get the hit, of course you're at the advantage because you got the hit, so you can keep doing damage like that, right? However, if they block it completely, so you can see that you still have the advantage like that. You see how you kind of like reset it just right like that. So very good string to practice, just 2B into 5B, and to just completely cancel and just reset everything so you can restart all over with Gordeau. Now let's look at his cons, all right? Even though he has many, many good tools and he's very good, he does have a few weaknesses that are very drastic, all right? So his number one weakness, I think, in my opinion, is that he really is very straightforward, too straightforward, to the fact that once in a long set, Gordeau can get blown up quite a bit, especially when he's by himself with no assists, because he has no mix-ups. He has nothing. All he has is great spacing tools and all that stuff, but he doesn't have any mix-up. So, and because of that, it can really lack in the rushdown department, or in the when he's by himself. That can be very strong. You have to play incredibly patient, like super patient, to the point where you literally don't do anything until they kill themselves. So in that case, Gordeau can shine, but when the opponent is playing patient as well, it's very hard to open them up. So even if he does have a command grab, or even with all these things, it's really hard for Gordeau to get something started. Only against impatient players in the lower levels that he can really shine. But once you get up to the higher levels, that's when he can start to kind of fall out, just because, like I said, not too much mix-up. It's all about spacing. And because these characters aren't necessarily like uni characters, are all kind of the same in that regard. They have some mix-up, of course, but for the most part, against characters like New 13, against characters like Blake, other characters like that have mix-ups, and they have really long limbs, can really blow up Gordeau. And that kind of leads me into the second thing that I think Gordeau can get blown up as, or one of his weaknesses is definitely he can be very susceptible to push blocking. It can kind of work both ways in his favor. So, or it can go like, it can go for him or it can go against him. So whenever you decide to do a specific string, if your opponent knows when to push block, it can really blow up Gordeau. So for example, if you do that, Yang is kind of a bad example for it's a bad example for counterattacking, but for the most part, you see what I mean. If they push block at the right moment, I'm very susceptible, and you can do whatever you want to me at that point. And the other way, there's the other way around. If they don't know how to push block Gordeau, I can do things like this, and so on and so forth. But for the most part, against a very good player, Gordeau can have a very hard time trying to open them up, having pressure because of their good push blocking, or just because they're very patient against Gordeau. All right. So just to let you know that Gordeau, very defensive. Do not overextend yourself too much with Gordeau. He's very strong with some really long range buttons, but that's basically all he has. So be very careful. Don't get too greedy with him, even though it's very, very easy for you to Grim Reaper. But against good players, they can push block and they can punish you, especially if they have full screen supers like Yang, like Batista, like Jin, like S. Other characters like that can really do some damage against Gordeau. So be very careful when playing with Gordeau. He's good, but he can get blown up very easily. All right, let's talk about characters he goes well with. So, of course, you can play characters that plays to his strength and really amplify his play style to be very, very strong. That are already more stronger than he is right now. You can play characters like Ruby, characters like Ragna, Narukami. Those three characters are very, very strong, amplify his playstyle and amplify his strengths, so that can be really good. I just realized that those are the three main characters of their own respective franchises. Funny that. But yeah, those three characters very strong with him. Or you can go with other characters that are a little bit more obscure and kind of go against his playstyle and have a mix, but at the same time kind of complementing him in a way, or complementing each other in a way. So you can play characters like Waldstein, New 13, Batista, or even Makoto, because Makoto has some really good damage with Makoto. You have some really interesting angles with Batista, with her 4P being shooting upwards while he dominates the horizontal region on the ground. She can dominate the vertical range in the air. You can also, and then with New 13, it's a lot of really good zoning tools, really good approaching tools as well. And Waldstein with his lockdown assist and just crazy, crazy playstyle as a grappler. So anyways, those characters are very good. Now, don't let me tell you to play these characters. Please experiment with your own characters to see what you can find and such. These are just some characters that you can start doing some team building stuff and having to see what kind of archetype you want to pair up with Gordeau. I think these characters do very well with him. And that about wraps it up for me today, boys and girls. Thank you all for tuning in. If you guys know anybody that wants to pick up Gordeau or is thinking about picking up Gordeau, share this video with them. If you guys did like it, give it a like, of course. If you guys want to see more of these videos, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more BB Tag content and guides for every character. I'm not sure who I'm going to be doing next, but hopefully it'll be very soon. I definitely want to finish up these guides before the other characters come out and such. So follow me on Twitter if you guys want to see anything more of me or the channel. And also, like I said before, subscribe to the channel for more of this. It's very helpful. It helps me out a lot, guys. We're almost to 20,000, which is unbelievable. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out, everybody.